While we're in the greenhouse, as you can remember, we put some early potatoes in, and if you can see them, they're just popping through, but within the next few days they'll grow quite well. Can you see where they're just popping through the compost now? Even that one. This one's as well, look. Now with me making my own compost, you will get a weed or two in it, so I have to keep weeding them as well. As these get a few inches high, I'll show you what to do in the next step. But then it just goes to show you a week and they begin. More peas here waiting to come up. We do them as a big crop and freeze them, so they're easier that way. I'm doing quite a lot of peas. It's one of the main crops we do for freezing, so we need a lot of plants. But if I raise them out there in the garden, the mice and the birds will eat them all. So we'll start them off in these pots, put them out in rows and put a net up, and they'll be fine. This one I'm using actually grows to about 6 feet tall, so it will need a net on it. It's quite simple to put in. I'm going to put two peas per pot. The reason for that will be because as soon as the plants get about 2 inches high, you've got to support them, because if they flop down, they never do any good. They need support from 2 inches high. Good thing to remember that. Wobble a bit of a hole, don't need much. You can just push them in with your fingers if you want, but I do it this way. The peas that I've already put in, I put them in this morning. They'll be for the boxes outside, but they only grow 2 feet high, so they'll be better in the boxes. There's the peas, all crinkly like me, but not quite as old, I'm afraid. I'm just going to put two in. I'll do it with the other hand so you can see. Just 2 in, not. And I'm putting them on the angle so I can put the twigs in there without damaging the seed. They take a day or two to swell up, and then I put 2 in that one, but it doesn't matter. There you are. One more just to finish that row, and then I'll show you covering up then. Peas, anybody can grow peas. Very, very simple. All I do, look, is just cover them up. If they're a bit high, just push them down. We'll put sticks in as soon as they get going. And the idea is I'll keep them in these crates. I can get them outside so they don't get too soft in this greenhouse. I don't want to grow them soft. I want to grow them hard so they can go straight in the ground. And I will do 3 boxes of these peas, because I need a lot of peas. We'll grow them up, harvest them, and get them straight in the freezer, so we've got a good supply of peas to take us into the winter. The other thing I want to just pop in today is some lettuce leaves, well, the salad mixed leaves. We've put some mixed leaves in. Now, as you can see, they are mixed seed. So what I'll do, I'll pop them back in there, and I'm just going to put a little group in each one and then just cover them up. I just get one of the dibblies. I'll use this one. I'm just going to make a slight indentation, and put them on a bit of good land, grow them up quickly so they can come straight back into the salads. They'll probably go with the beet. Remember, we put beetroot in. These will probably go with the baby beetroot, make some lovely salads. So what I'll do, look, I'll just do this end row so you can see. Don't be surprised if you get all different types of seed. As you can see, they're all mixed, but that's what we want. Little groups. It's no good trying to keep them separate, because they won't do it. Just tap your hand or tap the... There you are, look, that's all I'll do. I'll just pop that there, so for now. I will finish the tray, obviously, and I'll keep it in here till the right really get going, and then we'll do it. But again, you don't need anything fancy on the top of these. They'll be up in no time. And mark up where I am. So that is the salad leaves, which are all different coloured leaves. How far we've got with the pricking out. Most of it's done now. As you can see, we've got all the plants nicely coming on. The peppers, tomatoes are coming on nicely now. Look, these are the peas that we potted yesterday. As soon as they start showing through, I'll put some supports. These are the tomatoes, some for indoors. Some of these will actually go down the garden though, and I'll show you how to treat outdoor tomatoes. There you've got the courgettes, the cucumbers, all doing rather well. 1 or 2 losses, but that's acceptable. It rained all night, so the ground's a bit wet. So hopefully, maybe tomorrow we'll put the main crop potatoes in, because the ground is warming. Let's get them in. I don't want them in trays no more. They're better off in the ground. Okay. Oh, and we'll look at the compost heap. Okay. Outside, we've got the broad beans hardening up nicely. These are the boxes we'll use for the crops later. Just hardening them off a bit for a few days, and then we'll plant them in the garden ready. Just having my tea break, but we were walking down the garden to do a compost bin and show you what we do down there, but I had to stop here because when I stopped, mind you, the sun was out, but the narcissus are all out, daffodils, the muscari is all out, and there's a lovely perfume coming up, so I thought I'd have my tea break just here with the crew, obviously. Everything's looking so nice. Right, so we'll go down to the bins. I'll finish my tea and then we'll go down the bins, okay? Right, we're down about halfway down the garden. This is where we do the compost bins. Compost bins are like the engine of the garden. This is what keeps us all going. We were going to do the potatoes down there, but we've had that much rain last night, we can't go down to it, so we'll let that dry out a bit and we'll do these bins first. Right, this is the bin that's going down now. We leave this, I'll just get the fork to show you. This is being left to compost. As you can see, it's composting nicely. We just leave that to get on with it. This one, I've actually got leaves mixed into this one. Leaves will take longer to break down, so we tend to leave this one and let it break down. But if it breaks down a little bit more, it won't be long. When we've got the peas in, I'll show you that we'll mulch with this, and we'll show you that later. The first bin is the one we're filling now. Now the chickens I muck out every day. I take the straw out and the mess every day. I don't like them in the mess. And then all the house vegetable waste comes down. We don't put any meat in here at all. You must not do that, else you'll get vermin, and it's not good for the compost heap. The grass cuttings, any bits around the garden, any weeds or anything, if they're not perennials, they go in. Leaves, as you saw. Then when I build about a 6-inch layer up, I put a layer of horse muck on it. I've got a friend who brings me horse muck, and then I build up again, and when I get to the second layer I put a handful of accelerator on it just to get it down. But that's the bin we're using. This, as you can see, is very well on now. It's not far off, and I try to keep them covered as much as possible. You don't want too wet, but then again you don't let them dry out. And that's compost bins. Now you might think, oh, that's a bit much for me. So most of you have seen these type of compost bins. There's a lid that goes on it that's over there. Now if you're using one of these, when you put all your stuff in layers like we do. Any green manure, anything, grass clippings, use an accelerator, but every 6 to 8 weeks, to make good compost, lift it off, put it aside, always on soil, never put it on concrete, else you'll not get the work. Then what you've lifted off, take over and put back in again. So you're mixing it as you do it, and you'll get a lot better compost then. And just to show you what can be done in one of these, you see. So we've got big bins, but this has been made in that bin. As you can, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That is good compost ready for use. And that was done in that bin, but you must keep moving it. Right, we're down the bottom of the garden. It's a bit windy and chilly, but the soil's nice and warm now, so I'm putting the main crop potatoes in. Now, if you've got nice light land, you can dig a trench like this, 5 inches deep. These are the main crop ones, so you have to do 5 inches deep, and you put your potatoes in the bottom and then fill up. But if you're on, as you can see, my land is very heavy and strong, you can't do that, it'd be far too much work, so we do it like this. I'll show you up here. Now for your main crop, this is the way I do it on this heavy land. It makes life a lot easier. I put them 18 inches or 46 centimeters apart. I put my rows at 30 inches apart or 76 centimeters. Give yourself plenty of room because these are going to be big potatoes when they grow. I use a marker. I'm going to cover that one now, and rather than dig the trench, I do it this way. So we'll dig down and put one more in to show you. Don't bite off too much when you're doing this, else you'll not be able to lift it. Just little bits, keep it nice and neat and level. So we'll just do one more for you. Just cover the potato up. Don't put your fork through the potato though when you're doing it. I'll just mark this off because it is a bit heavy, this land, as you can see. Heavy land that grows good potatoes. So we're ready for the next one. Look, 5 inches deep. I just put a handful of organic fertiliser in, look, just to give them something to feed. I won't feed them again, there's plenty in there. Now your potatoes, you can remember how we sprut them, so we won't go through all that again. We just take your potato. There you are, look, there's my stake. Put him there, and then what to do, so move that down, put my stick in, or my stake, and then I carry on again. You see, it saves you digging a big trench, but if you're on light land you can, but this heavy, no way. Right, when I've finished, between the rows we will need to heat the soil up to get more potatoes from the stems. So we've given 30 inches between each row, so you've got plenty of room to do that. And when I've finished, I will fork between the rows, and when I'm hoeing, I'll hoe it deep to keep that soil nice and friable, ready for ridging up the potatoes. And as simple as that, give the potatoes room to grow. Don't cram them all in tight, they're not make nothing. Okay, while we're down here, I thought I'd just have a look and show you how the onion beds are doing and the garlic. But what I want you to do this time of year is really get your hose out, get them sharpened and get them working, because as you can see when we look at the onions, the weeds are beginning to germinate, and if you don't get on top of them, you'll never get on top of them. But if you look, can you see the weeds all coming up? These are the onions doing very well. You see, I'll do round onions tight on by hand. These are going to compost heap, by the way. I'll put them in a bucket and put them on compost heap. They'll be fine. As you can see, the onions, look at the weeds. If you don't get them, you'll never find your onions.